fans on their feet. Racing at Richmond, short track style.
See Denny Hamlin struggling on the outside. Under attack right now from the 41 car of Busch. Just can't hold the car down, can he?
Yeah, Denny hadn't been good this weekend. Made some changes on that car in between practices. Missed a lot of time doing it. Be interesting to see if they got that car dialed in, but he hasn't been fast so far. It's a track that he loves to run good on. It's kind of a home track to him here in Martinsville.
Harvick, Truex Jr., Kurt Busch, Denny Hamlin, and Blaney fighting for a spot. Then Keselowski, Almirola, Kyle Larson, Cole Custer's moved up to 9th, and Eric Jones rounding out the top 10.
You instantly see the value of good qualifying. The front 5 or 6 cars, single file, relatively calm and spaced out. A little battle back here just inside the top 10. As you go farther back through the field, 2 wide most of the field, sometimes even 3 wide already. We mentioned the 18 of Kyle Busch had to start at the back of the field. We'll look at on the right side of your screen, already inside the 13 of Ty Dillon.
They're the 16 drivers that are working to advance into the second round, and one already has that yellow box around them. That's Brad Keselowski after winning at Las Vegas a week ago. Everyone below 12th will be fighting for points and potentially a win, because the Roval coming up next week, and we have heard every driver is thinking about it right now.
As you're looking at the points on the left-hand side of the screen, look at Clint Bowyer in that 14 car. Well, I am really surprised that Clint Bowyer is still running back in 20th. He started 24th, and I talked to Clint today. They were really good here in the spring. He ran very well. Didn't qualify great. He thought that he had a car good enough, but he wasn't sure. He just didn't have confidence, and he has not gone really anywhere, still running back in 20th. The lowest running guy of everybody in the playoffs right now. And look at this 3 wide. He and Daniel Suarez going at it. These guys are going to have to race hard. They can't mess around. You said it a minute ago, Steve. The leaders are coming. You can get lapped on this racetrack very easy. So Clint Bowyer is going to have to get going.
Jeff, as we see the 17 of Ricky Stenhouse Jr. exiting pit road, the 14 of Bowyer is in trouble. He just said so to his team when he was told the leader was about a straightaway behind. He said, guys, I think we're in trouble. The car has been very loose in and off, very tight in the middle. 14.
Those are common balance issues, being very loose in, tight rolling center.
Well, we mentioned that strategy of pitting in the middle. 17 did it in the spring. They did it again here. So he's lost a lap. He's basically just barely 2 laps down, just behind the leaders here. But watch how good these new tires are. He's easily going to drive by some of the cars that are contending. The 42 of Larson, the 11 of Denny Hamlin. Neither of those cars are even going to hold. Oh! Contact with the 11.
Sideways goes Denny Hamlin. He keeps it straight, and it stays green.
And that's the best thing could have happened with that strategy. If you go out there on new tires and you spin somebody out, you have killed your strategy. Now you put yourself in a position where you are a lap down. That's the last thing you want to do.
But that's what new tires do. I mean, the closing rate on the 11 was unreal, and Ricky Stenhouse just misjudged it and basically ran the 11 over.
Let's take a look at the replay here. Coming off turn 4 through 3 and 4. Stenhouse on those tires just coming so much quicker, and Denny coming down the track to get a normal exit.
How did he not spin out? He locked the right front tire up
A couple times.
That's incredible.
You got to worry about that flat spot on the tires. You also got to worry about what that did to the rear tires. So how will that change Denny's strategy as far as his tires and his pit strategy, Steve?
Well, his hand's out the window. I believe the 11, they probably didn't want to split this up in the middle, but now, as you mentioned, hurting those rear tires, I think they just called him to pit road. Looks like Denny's running the bottom. He'll come to pit road right now. The 17 was the first, but now we've had multiple drivers. There have been 5 or 6 different drivers on pit road. But Denny Hamlin, as he smokes the tires, is definitely the highest running car that's going to pit in extra time in this stage.
And the laps continue to wind down. Coming up on 3 laps to go. And there are the top 3. Maybe the new big 3. Truex Jr., Harvick, and Keselowski. As hot as Brad Keselowski has been, winning the last 3 races.
Telling you, he's on it tonight. He's drove up here and caught these guys. Really methodical laps, very easy and smooth. keeping the rear tires on that car. I don't think that Brad's gotten loose yet off the corner. Hadn't seen him put a tire wrong yet.
2 to go. I think Brad's strategy right here, if he possibly could win this stage, that would take that away from somebody else he's got to compete for the championship with. It's going to be hard to do to get by both of these guys, but that would be huge for Brad.
That one playoff point, so valuable. And up the racetrack, almost gets into the side of the 66.
Man, I thought he had a right front tire going down. That was...
So he went from trying to win a stage to saying, okay, I need to finish this. I need to finish. It's all good. I thought he was going to hit the wall.
Just make sure to get those valuable points. Even though he has locked himself into round 2, everyone else fighting for the points and playoff points. And now the 78, Martin Truex Jr. is going to win stage 1.
For the 9th time this year, stage winner, MPJ.
Mentioned the battle between the 11 and Denny Hamlin, the 22 of Joey Logano. There you go, Burton. Denny Hamlin's going to drive all the way back into the top 10 with pitting in the middle of the stage. It's not a stage win, but that has to be a moral victory. 1 point. It's 1 more point than he thought he was going to have.
Martin Truex Jr. rockets away from the field on this restart.
Big move by Kurt Busch down on the inside of Chase Elliott down into turn 1, 3 wide. On the restarts into turn 1, usually ends in tears. Those guys make it work, though. Kurt wisely backs off there.
Alex Bowman showing his strength. Working an outside of Joey Logano.
Coming up on 1 lap to go in stage 2. Logano has made his way up to 11th, trying to get into the top 10. Now 1 lap to go. Blaney has been able to get in front of Martin Truex Jr. and unlap himself. Here comes Bowyer trying to unlap himself also. About a half a lap to go. The 14 trying to get in front of that 78. And Martin Truex Jr. will sweep the stages. He wins stage number 2.
So we saw the issue with the 78. Reminds us a lot of the spring, doesn't it, Rick? The 78 was so dominant here in the spring. They have trouble with the jack on the left side. They can't get the tires on. Loses that track position. Has to start back in the field with a dominant car. I mean, he was outstanding. That led to this trouble right here. He runs into the back of the 48, which is normal short track, right? They all check up. Boom, there's an accident. Ends up overheating. Takes a dominant car. Finishes 14th. This is the playoffs, Rick. Yeah. They can't afford 14th. They got to find a way to bounce back.
Make the mistakes they are making. That's already the 6th tire violation for the 78 team in 2018, the most of any teams. It's Chase Elliott out front. Kevin Harvick giving chase.
This is going to be interesting with Chase Elliott controlling the field. He's talked all night long about not having fire-off speed. He has the long-run speed, but his car doesn't take off for the first 20, 30 laps. We'll be able to hold this position. Or will Kevin Harvick be able to jump to his outside here, taking the lead?
Harvick's got a good run off turn 4 right now. Think he can clear Almirola if he can get to the bottom. Can't quite get there. Keselowski thinking about 3 wide.
Yeah, he's there. Keselowski on the outside of the 4 car, going to take 2nd place here. If he can get through 3 and 4, I think he does it. Looks like the 4 car is the one struggling on the takeoff speed.
So the 4 car couldn't run with a 78 on that long run. It makes you wonder if they made an adjustment on their car to try to make it better on a long run, which may hurt on the short run. You can see can't run out by the wall. That's because Eric Almirola's on the outside of him.
And Eric was tight getting into that corner. Eric tight on the side of that 4 car. That's what you got to do, though. Take that line away from that bottom groove. And he takes the spot. Surprised to see the 4 car of Harvick struggling on this restart. Up front, Brad Keselowski is closed in on the leader. Look at that 2 car to the outside. That's a power move, man. You're passing the leader on the outside. That's a strong car that Brad has.
How about that, Brad? I won 3 in a row. I'm going to come up here and take the lead from you boys. God, they got it going on. They flipped the switch. Now they are a threat, and that is an awesome feeling to go up there and take the lead away from 4th position, and you're the man right now.
Brad's been doing this for the last 3 weeks.
Yes.
The strongest car has some problems. Who shows up? One guy who was in good shape earlier in the race but is starting to struggle is Alex Bowman. Dropped all the way back to 14th place, and he's only 4 points by taking that position from Suarez above the cut line. They were in good shape earlier tonight, running inside the top 10. But he struggled over the last several hundred laps with that car, trying to get speed out of it, while his teammates, Chase Elliott and Jimmy Johnson, are excelling and moving forward.
I tell you, Junior, it really was just that last run for the 88. They kind of seemed to lose it. He told Greg Ives, listen, we're worse on both ends of the racetrack. I don't know, we just can't seem to get it connected like we had earlier in the night. But, Steve, you know this racetrack constantly changes here at Richmond. It's one you got to stay on top of and always be adjusting. We've seen teams dominate here and not make it to victory lane.
Yeah, Marty. I mean, this is a racetrack that you basically have to figure out what setup you want for the final 50 laps and work backwards and make sure your car's adjustable enough to get there, because practice is very difficult. It's an odd time of day. These long runs, you can't go run 50, 60, 70 laps in practice. There's just so many things that change how your car's driving.
Battle for the lead right here. Brad Keselowski, Kyle Busch is closed in. Kevin Harvick is 2.8 seconds back, but this is the battle right here. I am so surprised by Kyle Busch's race car. It's just steady, 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 driving toward the front of the field.
And his strength is the bottom of the racetrack. You see Keselowski runs to the top. Kyle just rolls the middle of the corner on the very bottom. Has good grip on corner exit. A strong race car right now for Kyle Busch.
That was incredible down into turn 1, how far he could roll into the corner. Look at that. All the way in the center of the corner and still turns. Still gets off the bottom. Taking that position looked easy. Marty.
Impressive what Kyle Busch and his team has been able to do. And let's go back to last week. Remember the problems they had in Las Vegas? Struggled all day long, spun out at one point, didn't have contact with a splitter, and yet they come back to finish 7th. Tonight, Kyle very frustrated on the first couple of runs, told Adam Stevens why they weren't going to win the race tonight, and Adam kind of fired back at him, said, hey, let us adjust on it, let us get it better. Clearly, they've done that. They've made the 18 better literally every stop tonight, and here's the result. From 39th to the lead for Kyle Busch.
Battle for the lead. The 2 car has moved to the top of the racetrack, and he has run down Kyle Busch, and he is making a pass for the lead. I'm surprised that Kyle Busch didn't adjust his line. Try to take that line away from Brad Keselowski.
Too late now. There's nowhere to go. Kyle Keselowski's there. Kyle needed to make that move just a little bit sooner.
Wow. I thought the 18 was going to drive off, Jeff, but Brad Keselowski said no. He moved around, found some speed, and here he is in the lead.
We'll see what Kyle Busch does right here. Does he adjust his line, or does he think for the long run with 58 laps to go, he's better off running on the bottom? And what does Keselowski do? Keselowski used the top to get by him and then right to the bottom of the racetrack to take Kyle Busch's line away from him.
What an amazing battle between 2 of the best drivers in NASCAR. Keselowski able to hold off Kyle Busch, but here he comes again, all over the back bumper for the lead.
I think Kyle Busch chilled his tires out a little bit. He's making an aggressive run. You saw him drive into one, drove way in the corner. Now he's going to make a strong move, see if he can clear him in the middle. I think he's got him.
He's got him right there. Brad Keselowski could not hold him off. He gets back to the bumper of the 18, but
Get your marks, leave them.
gets a little pressure down the back straightaway. Man, I think Kyle Busch is going to drive away. That was so impressive. I thought Kyle Busch under the commercial break had burned up the tires on the 18 car trying to pass the 2 on the inside. You saw him get loose into turn 3 so many times. I've started that movie before.
Now the final 2 laps. Kyle Busch trying to hang on after starting 39th today. Methodically working his way up through the field. The dominant car to start the race, the 78. Martin Truex Jr. swept stage 1 and stage 2. But once the 18 of Kyle Busch was able to clear Brad Keselowski, he has not allowed anyone to get close to him. Final lap from Richmond Raceway. Kyle Busch looking for his 50th career win in the Monster Energy Cup Series. And more importantly, the ticket to the second round. Kyle Busch is going to sweep the Richmond races.
Unbelievable win number 50 in the Cup car. Kyle Busch giving some love to the fans. Man, that battle there at the end, congratulations.
Yeah, that was too close for my comfort. I thought we were a little bit better than that on the long run. I know Harvick, that's kind of his specialty, but we had a really, really good race car tonight. The M&M's Camry was awesome. Guys did a great job coming back from a dismal qualifying effort and preparing a really, really good race car for us here tonight. And being able to start dead last, come up through the field and win this thing, that's right, Rowdy Nation. All for you, baby.